Welcome to the Curious Chronicles, a channel dedicated to exploring the fascinating stories and events that have shaped our world. From the ancient civilizations of the past to the modern developments of today, we delve into the intriguing tales and mysteries of history, science, and culture. Our goal is to provide you with engaging and thought-provoking content that inspires curiosity and a deeper understanding of the world around us. Through in-depth research and expert analysis, we aim to shed light on the lesser-known aspects of history and science, and challenge commonly held assumptions and beliefs. Whether you're a seasoned history buff or simply curious about the world, our channel offers something for everyone. So join us on this journey of exploration and discovery, as we unravel the mysteries of the past and present, one episode at a time. The aftermath of World War II marked a pivotal moment in world history as the political landscape was shaped by the division of the world into two ideological camps: the capitalist, democratic Western powers led by the United States and the communist, authoritarian Eastern powers led by the Soviet Union were deeply divided in their vision for the future of the world. The United States, eager to promote its vision of a free and democratic world, adopted a policy of containment towards the Soviet Union, seeking to limit the spread of communism by supporting anti-communist governments and movements around the world. The Soviet Union, on the other hand, sought to expand its influence by supporting communist movements and governments in other countries. This ideological divide marked the beginning of the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension and military rivalry that lasted for over 4 decades. One of the first major crises of the Cold War came in 1947, when the Soviet Union blockaded Berlin, cutting off all road, rail, and water access to the city. Berlin was situated deep within Soviet-controlled territory but had been divided into 4 zones of occupation after the war, with the United States, Great Britain, and France each controlling a sector. The Soviet Union sought to force the Western powers to abandon their occupation of the city by cutting off their access to it. In response, the United States and its allies launched the Berlin Airlift, a massive operation to airlift supplies into the city. Over the course of 11 months, more than 200,000 flights delivered over 2 million tons of food, fuel, and other supplies to Berlin. The airlift demonstrated the United States' commitment to the defense of Western Europe and the principle of collective security, and it helped to prevent a wider conflict. The Cold War also saw the arms race between the two superpowers, with both countries constantly developing new and more advanced weapons. In addition, the Soviet Union and the United States each sought to establish military alliances in different parts of the world, with the Soviet Union creating the Warsaw Pact and the United States forming NATO. The Korean War, which began in 1950, was another significant conflict of the Cold War. North Korea, backed by the Soviet Union and China, invaded South Korea. The United States, with the support of the United Nations, intervened on behalf of South Korea, leading to a protracted and bloody conflict that lasted until 1953. The war ended in a stalemate, with the division of the Korean peninsula into 2 separate countries that remain divided to this day. In addition to the Korean War, the Cold War was characterized by a series of proxy wars, in which the United States and the Soviet Union supported opposing sides in conflicts in places like Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Nicaragua. These conflicts were often marked by brutal violence and human rights abuses, with both sides seeking to gain an advantage in the larger global struggle for influence. The Cuban Missile Crisis, which occurred in 1962, was perhaps the most perilous moment of the Cold War. The Soviet Union had installed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just a short distance from the United States. President John F. Kennedy responded by imposing a naval blockade on Cuba. And after a tense standoff, the Soviet Union agreed to remove the missiles in exchange for a promise from the United States not to invade Cuba. The Cuban Missile Crisis demonstrated the high stakes of the Cold War and the very real possibility of a nuclear catastrophe. Throughout the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a global struggle for influence, seeking to expand their spheres of influence and gain a strategic advantage over the other. The United States implemented a policy of détente, seeking to ease tensions between the two superpowers, while the Soviet Union sought to expand its influence by supporting communist movements in other countries. The end of the Cold War came in